With 2025 just around the corner, I decided that because they announced a bunch of stuff, to go over and give my thoughts and opinions and my hopes and dreams when it comes to Magic the Gathering in 2025. So when it comes to this, the main thing I'll be focused on is a photo that they announced what will be coming on next year. So I'll be going over each individual one, giving my thoughts and opinions, asking what yours is, giving a description of them, and hopefully what cards I would like to see in the future. But before I go any further, a word from our sponsor, which is me with my small little Etsy store where I sell hoodies and t-shirts with cool designs and stuff like that for you to be able to wear with comfort and joy. If you like me and what I do and want to help support the channel, please go on there. There'll be a link down below for you to buy whatever you like. So when it comes to this video, the main area I'll be going over would be this photo right here. I'll be going over each individual part and giving my thoughts. Starting off with
Innistrad Remastered.
Now you're probably wondering, but the first one says Aether Drift. Yes, but there's always a remaster set at the start of each year. If you don't know what Innistrad is, it is kind of a horror vampire werewolf kind of plane where a lot of very well-known planeswalkers and stuff like that are from, and it is one of the most known and one of the better planes in existence. When it comes to this, you're probably going to see a lot of angel reprints, zombie reprints, a lot of cool variations of art. I do hope they go down on the horror theme like they did with Duskmon, because that was really cool, but not the same, like a horror-esque thing, but different. Hopefully when it comes to this, we're seeing a few planeswalkers probably being in a different art, because since it's not a core or story set, I say they can print more than one kind of planeswalker card, so that'll be cool to see. I would love to see a new Sorin, Jace, or Kaya card, especially in a very heavy, dark kind of Innistrad kind of theme. I think would be great. And since this is a Innistrad reprint, I did look at some Innistrad cards, and there is a fair few cards that I'm like, I would love to see a reprinting of in a very cool art. And the cards I picked were
Archangel Avacyn, Startled Awake, Thing in the Ice, Triskai Decaphobia.
So if there's any cards you would love to see in this set, let me know in the comments down below, or just share the name and I'll look them up. So now let's start off with the new sets that will be coming out that are completely brand new, starting off with
Aether Drift.
This one straight off the bat is the set announced so far that I'm not excited for, but that is on me. I am not a big fan of vehicles. I never play vehicles unless I kind of have to. I have in a few drafts. I don't like vehicles or the mechanic as a whole. But since this is based on a racing kind of one, I can see a lot of people enjoying it. To be honest, it's giving me kind of the Skylanders racing vibes, and I did not like that at all. So out of all the sets this year, the first set is the one that I'm kind of least or not even looking forward for, but there is some cool things that they've already shown off and announced. Starting off with Duretti losing their spark. I don't like this. I do think Duretti is an underplayed planeswalker. I do think it has cool abilities and stuff like that. But the fact that they just lost the spark and now he's a mechanic or something like that doesn't sit right with me. I'm not the biggest fan. But again, I don't control or have access or anything like that to the game. But I do think that because of looking at this card, it has a good variation. So at least have some good cards in this set. And then there is the confusing thing that they've done. There is this card here, which is a Planeswalker card, but it's not a Planeswalker. I think this is going to be kind of the first story set where they're able to put like sparks and abilities, or that we know of Jace is looking for treasure or loot and has that little loot goblin with him. So I think that this could be a start of a journey showing that this thing, this car or whatever, is going to be their getaway vehicle to be able to planeswalk through different planes, getting loot and stuff like that. But again, I know nothing when it comes to this, so this is just kind of a maybe or what if area. I think this set is going to have a lot of vehicles, a lot of red or green kind of focus on it. I don't really know how they're going to do it. They might have some new keywords and stuff like that they're doing most sets. The deck, they might do a Duretti deck. That could be kind of cool. But I don't know what they're going to do story-wise, because it's just racing. I don't know what they're going to do kind of when it comes to the vehicles and stuff, if it's going to be kind of a like just a normal car race like Mario Kart or something like that, or, and I'm going to show my age here, or Open Star Racer, which was one of the greatest shows ever, that type of racing. We just have to wait and see and find out. But next we're hopping on to
Tarkir Dragonstorm.
If you don't know what Turkey is, it is a plane where it had two timelines. I think it was originally the dragons owned it, and then timey-wimey stuff happened, and then humans then controlled it. And I'm not sure if they're going to go with the continuous timeline, but they called it Dragonstorm, so it could be a kind of variation of both. It could be one of those things that it's still the humans controlling it, so you get a lot of human tribal cards like you did in the older one, but the Dragonstorm is coming, so it's them with more timey-wimey stuff, trying to get their plane back, and then the Dragon Lords then control everything again. But before this set's even out, there is a lot of questions to ask, starting off with Sarkhan. Sarkhan's back and again lost their SPAC. Sarkhan, in my opinion, is the worst Planeswalker. I've never liked anything to do about him or anything like that. So to see he lost his SPAC, I'm like, cool, don't care, don't like him at all. But it shows that the set's going to be based or going to have a large influence about him. But then there's even more. There were also the Planeswalker that was set. The card was shown, but with no words on it, and it's Eugene or Urgent. I call him Eugene because it's funny. Eugene's back, which causes a lot of problems. Now that Eugene's back, that means potentially Bolas is back. And the only way I can think both being back is due to the Phyrexian War opening portals everywhere, and a portal got attached onto where Bolas and Eugene were kind of placed, which is going to cause big problems in the story, and that's what I'm excited for. I don't like Turkey. I'm not the biggest fan of the human aspect, and the dragons are cool, but not something that I go crazy for. So we're playing with dragons, that is okay. Sarkhan I don't care for, with the racing Planeswalker car possibly thing, and then the future of, I think this is where the next story is going to kind of set off, and we're going to start seeing that Bolas is coming back and they need to stop Bolas again, but Jace is off doing God knows what, so I'm excited for the story solely due to this. When it comes to this, I really do hope that they reprint the Dragon Lords in a new cool art, but that's just me. And now we're going on to
Final Fantasy.
So before I continue on with the set, I need to let people know that, one, I'm not a Final Fantasy fan. Everything I know from Final Fantasy is I had two friends obsessed with 7 and Kingdom Hearts. I love Kingdom Hearts. Other than that, know nothing about it. I know a few faces and stuff like that, but not the biggest fan. To be honest, my actual, the Wii CJ came from Final Fantasy, but that's a story for a different day. If you want to know that, let me know and I'll make a video on it. But I'm also not a fan of these kind of Magic the Gathering X Universe stuff either. So this set for me is kind of not the biggest set or the set I'm excited for. But with the Final Fantasy remakes I've seen and people loving Final Fantasy, I can see a lot of people jumping on this like they did with Lord of the Rings. I wasn't interested in Lord of the Rings set. I got a few cards, but it was more for upgrades for other decks. I just ignored that they're Lord of the Rings characters. But I can see this being absolutely huge, especially because there's definitely going to be a secret layer on it, and they've already shown off a artwork with Sephiroth in it, so people are going to be completely going crazy for this set. When it comes to this, I do think the chocobos, the chicken thingies should be in this, and the giant cactus as well, or the cactuses. I've seen a video on them dancing, I'm like, they're cool. Again, if I'm completely saying their names wrong, I completely apologize. But the set that I'm most excited for is
Edge of Eternities.
When it comes to these sets, there's less and less information for me to go on, but that means there's more and more imagination I can think of. The only thing that's been shown off in this is that it is going to be pretty much in space, that it is a space opera, and that Tezzeret is back. I absolutely love Tezzeret. He's a great card, great story. And I do think now that the fact that Eugene's back and Bolas is back, that Tezzeret is going to be kind of running away from Bolas or going to work with Bolas in some form of way if Bolas is back. The only thing I can see for this set that I think people would enjoy is the fact that it is coming close to the end of the year. So what they did with the Transformers or the Jurassic Park, I think would be cool with like Star Wars. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, don't really like it, but I do think that if Star Wars is going to be in a set, it's going to be in a space opera set, and they're just going to have bonus cards and bonus art and a secret layer with it.
SpiderMan.
When it comes to this, there is so much I could talk about. I'm not the biggest Spider-Man fan. Actually, in my opinion, Spider-Man is the worst Marvel kind of person, but that's just me. I do find that if they are going to do this, the thing is, are they going to do the movie version? Are they going to do the comics, the 80s cartoon, the 90s, 2000s cartoon? Like, there's so many different variations they could pick, so many different variations of art that they can pick as well. So it's one of those things I'm excited to see how the cards are going to look like. Now, they could also do the thing of different variations of art. So there could be like a few of the films, there could be a few of the old cartoons. I would love to see the Spider-Man pointing at Spider-Man meme as a card, like a legit card or a secret layer. I would be happy with that. But there's also so many. They could make a set just solely on Spider-Man himself with the different variations of Spider-Man there is. There could be solely a secret layer or a soul set based on that. Never mind villains and bad guys and stuff like that. But a few variations of cards I would love to see would be Venom, Carnage, and I cannot remember the name of this because I think it was in the 90s or early 2000s cartoon, but it stuck with me for my entire life. There was like these 3 giant robot spiders that kept causing him problems, and they were like 3 different sizes. That is a card or cards with Morph or Mutate on it or something like that would be a cool idea. And then finally,
b.o.b.
this stands for
Untitled Universes Beyond.
This stands for Untitled Universes Beyond. It's pretty much a Final Fantasy or the Spider-Man sets where it is based in a different universe. Now that there's going to be 3 this year, I'm like, is way too much, but they did announce that it's going to be 1 a year after this. This could be potentially anything. With them working with Marvel, I think the biggest one I've seen people talk about is Guardians of the Galaxy would be cool, or an Avenger one. With the SpongeBob secret layer that was announced, which is, again, I could rant about that for an hour, I think they could potentially, and I hope they don't, do an entire SpongeBob SquarePants set. We now live in the day and age that is a high possible thing. When it comes to this, I think personally, even though I don't like the Universes Beyond stuff, a Pokemon one would be good with Ash being a Planeswalker and Pokeballs being like cards that steal your stuff, and variations of Pokemon seen as Magic the Gathering cards. There could also be a Yu-Gi-Oh one where Yugi is a Planeswalker, but then like the Egyptian god cards as Magic the Gathering cards would also be cool. Plus the collabs and secret layers they could do, again, could potentially get them a lot of money. One thing I would love to personally see would be a Bioshock kind of Universes Beyond. Again, still won't be happy with it, but I did like Doctor Who and Fallout, so again, if it's a thing, I'm going to accept it. But the underwater one, not in the sky. Bioshock 1 and 2, underwater, Big Daddy is a card with Trample and Annihilator, great. But that is everything coming out in 2025 that we know of. Of course, I'll be making videos on other sets, other secret layers. So if you are enjoying that, please go subscribe to my channel. It really does help. If there's anything you would like to see or have any ideas from what could potentially be in any of these sets, what you would like to see in any of these sets, what the Untitled Universes Beyond universe you would like to see, let me know in the comments down below. While you're there, remember to like and subscribe and do all that stuff. And as always, if you liked this video, I have a previous video where I talk about the 20 worst kind of keywords in Magic the Gathering. Here, a playlist of Magic the Gathering videos I make here, and a subscribe button here. And I want to say thank you for all the support, and I will see you all in the next video.